Saturday, hopefully, or Sunday. I'll just try that. Otherwise, next week, I will get some help from an expert. All right, it's time. Let's begin with the invocation. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Yes, please. Can anyone recollect what is it that we have seen last? So we can continue our journey into the last Adhyay of the Gita. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes.
Krishna says, Arjun, I will reveal you 5 main causes by which man can attain the perfection. The base of it is the sharir or the body. Actually, one should nurture it and live full 100 years of life. Then the body is governed by the divine will or ahankar.
The karta. Who is the karta, isn't it?
Who is the karta? Who is the doer?
Yes, sir. Ji, sir.
Then comes the different types of karmas or the efforts.
Yatna, absolutely.
Actually, effort should not deviate also. But it should be proper. Effort should not deviate to the...
the indriyas. The fourth factor is the indriyas, which sometimes direct our efforts.
Senses or indriyas, which we can say that.
Yes, sir.
And the last one is the individual fate of an individual.
Yes, sir.
Here we learn
one small question, Om Prakash ji. So one small question. So last one is fate. So does it mean ultimately fate alone will govern everything, or fate is one of the factors only?
No, fate is one of the factor actually. Fate is one of the factor, but yes, it plays a role. Not that it doesn't play a role.
Yes, sir.
We were told, or rather learnt about that Dashrath Manji story also against this.
Yes.
Actually, these 5 elements interact, and then the outcome is decided.
Like we can say permutation and combination of all these 5 forces.
Of these 5 forces decides the outcome. Then also again, Krishna talks about, about the sattva, rajasic and tamasic, like, by opening of inner eye. And
awakening takes place.
Seeing the divinity in everybody, that is sattvic light. Sattvic. And
knowledge.
When one is devoid of unity, looking for separation is a rajasic thing.
Divide everywhere. We have seen in, I think, in the second Adhyay, if I'm not mistaken, Vyavasayatmika Buddhir. That buddhi which is making a person always see division. Bahu Shakha Anantascha is what Krishna is telling. It has so many branches which keep getting split more and more. So when the division starts, then it starts more and more everywhere. You draw a line, you say this person is mine, then that person is not. That line starts spreading everywhere. We don't realize it. When the samatha is lost, then the same story happens what happened in Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra never wanted anything bad for his children, but his, we can say, ahankar, his swartha, whatever names we want to give. But that division, that factor, he was not realizing that these are also my children. Can we not be happy when we see somebody better than us? We can sometimes experience a joy. Wow, this person has got some extra blessing only, or how is he so intelligent? There was one friend of mine in school. He was so intelligent, he was probably 2 sections ahead of everybody. Means we thought, why is he studying in our class? He should be one more standard or 2 standards higher than us, because that was his. Some of them felt jealous, but there were so many friends who actually felt very nice. They said, "Arey yaar, thoda seekhna chahiye isse." So this attitude where you see oneness, where somebody's success is not your failure, that is something which is sattvic. Otherwise, rajasic is dangerous. Yes, sir. Please, if you can continue, sir.
Yeah, and the last one, the tamasic is, limited in the perception, it is with delusion and with a narrow view.
Narrow view. Cannot
this
go beyond its own routine. Cannot, I understand this much, and everything in the world must fit to my understanding. Beyond that, I will not try. Beyond that, I will not try to even understand or learn. Tamasic is that vritti, as we have seen in the three gunas. Highest is sattva, rajas is in the middle, tamas is the lowest. So we must be very, and Krishna has told something about even becoming a state of gunatit, which is already highest. Maybe when we start getting more conscious of ourselves, then we may not just dance to the tunes of nature. We might be able to have some control over nature. Probably that is why all yogis do sadhana. They say, I don't want to be bound by nature only. I want to be free. I want to be liberated. So this is the Adhyay, which is talking about it. Yes, sir. So we stopped here, isn't it? So in 20 seconds.
We stopped.
All right. Yes. So just one more thing I'll just like to add once more of what Om Prakash ji has perfectly said. So these 5 factors are there. Fate is only one of the 5 factors. We should not resign. We should not resign to something that this is my fate. Sometimes sharira, some people have very strong sharira, some people have weak sharira. Does that mean the person with weak sharira is not going to do anything? No. Maybe if your sharira is not strong, there are other faculties. I think we've all heard of this scientist, Stephen Hawking, isn't it? How was his body? We will say, Array, what is this? Fate is already bad for him. He is born like this or he's got this disease. What will he do? What did he do? He went quite deep. He went quite deep, meaning the other factors are also at play. So we need not ever think. If you see some of the strongest people in the world, they are physically not strong. They are actually, if you see Joan of Arc of France, she was a maid, frail maid. But big knights in armors would immediately bow to her because they felt this is the divine. Divine is working through her. She has come with the divine sanction. She is not an ordinary individual working only on Ahankar level. She is a Karta of the divine is what they recognized. And so big knights bowed to her so much that whatever you say we will do and we will fight for you, we will die for you. So much was their Shraddha. This is why they say sometimes Shraddha, Namaskar to Shraddha. It is important. So much was their Shraddha that she was divine that she passed away during the battle. But that news, they didn't want to reveal it. Otherwise, the morale of the entire troops would go. They actually made her wear the armor like always she would wear after she has passed away, made her sit on a horse. And from afar, they could see that, yes, she is watching. And that is how they went into the battlefield. Well, this aspect of Sharira, we must never resign. The main point why we just re-looked at is, so many factors are there in fate. Sometimes we feel, this is something I have done my last life. No, it's all right. We have a beautiful life. This life, any moment is the best moment. So we can always try, and it's a permutation and combination. I think in maths, we have learned this formula, isn't it? NCX, n factorial by n minus x factorial. So many combinations, so many possibilities are there. In life also, nobody can perfectly predict. One great Jyotishacharya who is to Maharashtra, who would predict the couples, whether they're going to have a happy life or not. Such a big following. So many people would go and they would match the patrikas and try to see whether the couples will be able to understand, have a good life ahead or not. His own daughter had got separated. Now, why did he not understand it? Or did he not? No, these are all factors. These are all factors. We don't want to jump and say science is hopeless or science, astrology does not have any jnana. But it is not probably meant only for some swartha of somebody's marriage to somebody. Maybe astrology can help you understand your own self better. Grahas are working on you, yes. But then when you surrender to the divine, you can even rise above the grahas. Because the creator of the grahas, we cannot say the creator of grahas to be careful now, Rahu Kal, don't function now. This is not auspicious for you. This is not the case. So I think we have also seen Shubha Shubha Parityagi Bhaktiman Me Priyo Naraha, that in the 12th Adhyay, Krishna says the one who has risen beyond the auspicious and the inauspicious, beyond everything. Such a person is considered the most elevated. Well, here also we see, let us have Shraddha. Shraddha will allow us I think there's a beautiful bhajan also. Mera Ram ji karenge beda par. You just have to have that Shraddha. Say Ram bharose rahoge kya? That's the best thing if you can really be in Ram bharose. Many times it is used like you're not doing anything. No, do your karma. But remember, ultimately, there is always one variable factor which is always beyond our control. No human being can control. We can control intraneous factor inside of me. I can control everything that's in my hands. Can I now? Floods are there in the capital of India. Can someone control that? Any factor which is beyond man, there is always. So we don't have to suddenly draw a conclusion like Arjuna had drawn in the first Adhyay itself. He said everything is hopeless. I don't see any meaning. It's better I die. I don't see any positive. I don't see any reason. So what is functioning? Who is the Karta here? Ankar is the Karta. So when he said Shishyasteham, then we saw somewhere his Ahankar went aside. Imagine, great yogi, great warrior. We can even call him a yogi because he was a parantapa. Great sadhanas he had done to reach his state. But such a great one who's a father of another great warrior who has got a big name. What does he say? He says to Krishna, he says, Shishyasteham, I'm afraid, he says, Karpanya dosho. Meaning, personal ahankar is keeping aside. He is going straight in front of Krishna and saying, I don't know, it is all right. And that humility is a good thing. That is where divine can work. Otherwise, Arjuna will only think according to his understanding. So the part 2 is that, then the efforts. We are yet to see what efforts Arjuna is going to take after the Gita. Right now, only efforts we see is silently listening at least. That is a good thing. So this way, different factors, not letting Indriyas deviate you. All these can control and, make your direction in the right way. For me, it is simple for me in life because I found a guru. So I just go Sharanagati. Whatever mistakes are there, I say like Avahanam na janami visarjanam. Just forget it. Mantrahinam, kriyahinam, bhaktihinam. I don't know mantras. I don't know kriya. Even this Bhagavad Gita, I think a normal person would have, even a wise guru would have told, don't be foolish. Don't try to write this in poetry like that. I just got inspired listening to Hanuman Chalisa recited by my guru. That was in 2013 or 14. I just went feeling that energy inside. I said, I want to write poetry on Gita. I want to write the Gita. That was a very silly dialogue. I just went, I want to write Gita. Somebody would have said, what is this? Gita is already written. What are you going to write? But no, he allowed me. And then that Ashirvad came. So something like that. Each of us, we have our Shraddha Sthan. It could be our Guru. It could be our Aradhya. It could be even our Mitra. Anywhere. Let that come. And always best is have a full surrender to the Ishwar. That will allow us to receive the higher wisdom. Krishna has told, isn't it? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I'll give you buddhi. Maybe one more reason, there's a hidden meaning we can say, or another interpretation is, I don't want smart people. They will start teaching me only. So it's better if buddhi is not there. Empty slate, I can write whatever story I want. Well, this is an important aspect. We must recognize whatever it is never too bad. Arjuna was thinking it is frying pan and fire situation. Krishna immediately told it was a win-win situation. You lose this battle, you will go to Swarga. And you win the battle, the world will celebrate your victory of righteousness. So there's no fear, there's no loss. So this aspect is important. So with this, we are ready. Krishna talked about knowledge, realization. He says scriptures talk about gnosis also, the sakshatkar also. When sattva is there, that is the best chance. It comes from the inner eyes opening. Then that person will see Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Divine is inside of me, divine is inside of the other person also. No division. Why division between people? Why division between Nara and Narayan? Advaita ekameva dvitiyam brahma sadasada rupam sadasatitam nanyat asti trikala krutam trikala titam. All is one. All is one is only all. Soham asmi, that sakshatkar. When can it come? When the division disappears. I don't think I am too inferior. God is far superior. Inside of me, there is some purity. Let me connect with that. Let that sattva rise. Then where will you see? And you will see Krishna in every form. Sri Aurobindo saw it in the Alipur jail. He saw it in the prisoners. He saw in the swindlers. In them also he saw Vasudeva. He was given one rough blanket for him. It was rough, not even a blanket. It was a rug or something, a cloth, which was supposed to serve as a blanket. It was a very rough cloth. But he said it was Vasudeva hugging and embracing him is what he felt. He was frustrated. Yes, he was frustrated inside of the prison. Somebody who is inspiring young Subhash Chandra Bose, who is very close to Lokmanya Tilak, who brought about the Surat split of the Congress. All such a big leader is suddenly inside of prison, who's left everything for Bharat, and now he is inside of prison. There is obviously there would be a what we can say spiritual frustration. How will I do my work? But he channeled it to the divine. Then the samvad began, and then the realization. It was the hour before the gods awake, the beginning of a new journey in his life, which nobody understood. Most of the spiritual revolutionaries also didn't understand his next part of life after the jail, but there he got the Krishna experience. The samvad took place. He got realization, scriptural realization also. He has written beautiful Sanskrit works. Somebody whose father did not want him to have any connection with what is Shastra or Adhyatma of Bharat. Everything was good in UK, so he quickly sent him at a young age. But he came back, and then the awakening happened. So Aneka Janma Sansad is like after many Janmas also, suddenly the time comes. When does it come? When the blessing comes. For that, we have to create the ground. So the best way to create a ground for a realization, for a transformation, physical, mental, emotional, whatever transformation we are seeking, it is when we have sattva. Because sattva will allow us to go in the right direction. But Rajas creates divide. Rajas is a force, what we can say, but it is not controlled all the time. If you can control it, then it will help you go in the sattvic direction. Otherwise, it will only take you in another direction. My friend went to the gym in the US, one of the best gyms. He started taking steroids because he wanted quick results. Then his kidney got spoiled. Blood started coming in the eye, what we can say. Great, at a very young age, his kidney is spoiled, and he's having some, what we can say, increased blood pressure in the eye, and clotting taking place. Now, what has happened? Too fast, wanting to do something when you're not ready. Body should also be ready. It cannot happen suddenly. Well, that is the same thing. But Rajas also creates, not just physically, mentally also. Rajas creates that force. That force creates divide. Divide makes a person think, I am better than this person, or this person is mine, this person is my enemy. That's a disturbance. Tamas, we already saw, as Om Prakash ji shared. So let us continue. We now go into the 23rd shloka. Let us see. Niyatam sangarahitam raga dveshatah krutam afala prapsuna karma yattat satvikam uchyate. Any action that is performed in a manner right from likings or aversions by remaining detached, regulated unto the fruits of works by not being attached. No such actions to be done in sattva's light. So how do you understand a sattvic action? A sattvic action is done in a right manner, in a correct manner, not having excess liking, not having an aversion. Regulated, and the fruits of work not being attached, meaning doing it with discipline, regulation. Last shloka we saw tamas does not like to do anything new. What is the difference between tamasic, which is preferring a routine, and sattvic, which is talking about discipline? Can someone tell me what is the difference? Tamas is talking about routine. Discipline also means something similar to a routine. How is this different then? The routine of tamas, how is it different from the discipline of sattva? Can someone probably guess or tell me? The discipline of sattva, how is it different from the routine of tamas? Because we know tamas is not good. So one side Krishna is saying this is not going to learn anything. But then what about discipline here? Anyone? Anybody? Yes, Miraji?
Tamas, I feel, does not want to venture into anything new. He doesn't want to maybe try something which wherein he may have to exert. So there is less pressure on the mind, and therefore a kind of a blindfold.
No growth.
Like how a horse has got blinkers.
Yes.
Just want to go in that same direction, which is a comfortable path. Whereas a sattvic is having a discipline of control. It's a controlled behavior where He is doing it because he is feels it's good. It has value.
Yes, and that is something, discipline is, which is required everywhere, isn't it? In every action, we need to have a discipline. Means
Like
yes,
like
please
people
go
of
on.
the earlier generation, they used to have bath at this time, 6 o'clock
Perfect
bath,
time.
7 o'clock lighting
While
lamp.
bath also, while bath is going on, a mantra jap that would happen.
Going on.
Would become a part
exact
of their
6:30 lamp with daylight lamp. 6:45 you
yes,
will get that agarbatti fragrance in the house. So every day
yes.
you can have a schedule that this is what will happen every day through disciplined work.
Okay, Ji, Miraji, if you just look at it, what were the vibes you would get from it, from the discipline of theirs? Would you feel, Arey, yaar,
Some
fir se wahi ho
bhakti.
gaya?
No, there's some
You would
bhakti
feel
in the
light.
work. There is
You would
some
feel a
bhakti.
light, isn't it? Some kind of positive vibes, good feeling from it. So that is one way you can understand. When you are losing those positive vibes and things are becoming monotonous, then you must understand somewhere tamas is entering inside. Otherwise that ananda is there. Why not? Each time you say, this is when you are doing japa also, when you are doing Sri Ram's name, for example, Jai Shri Ram. So when you are doing japa, how are you doing it? If it's like Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, because I want to finish it in these many minutes or something, you will not get the joy. But when you actually go and you have the pronunciation, you feel the reverberation of that sound through your body, it has a different effect. You feel more, fresh after doing it. So this is the beauty of a sattvic action. When it is done in a regulated manner. There is something called discipline also. And that does not drain a person. A person doing sattvic action will actually feel fresh after doing the action as well. That is something which we will see later. And again, as in the case of sattva, it is always doing an action without anticipation of any particular result. My sister today was talking to one senior arts college, there were superintendents and everybody else. He said, you are coming to class to take a lesson for all of us. So you are expecting us to attend the class. So isn't this an expectation? When she tried to explain that expectation is not required. The person who is asking is in his late 60s or maybe early 60s, just close to retirement. And my sister is just 30, 31. She said, you are having expectation. She said, see, of course, I want to come and I want to share, but I'm doing it because not that I'm getting some money, not because somebody is giving me, because I am getting the joy of doing this. So I am doing it. If you remember, in the first day, only some 8 people had come. I did not say anything. Then afterwards, people have started increasing. But tomorrow also, if only one person comes also, I will teach with the same joy, because my joy is not connected with the expectation of having more number of people. That was her reply, and that was very loved by the person who was asking the question also. Because that is what we can call sattva. Sattva is that when you do something without expectation of result, you are actually able to focus on the work and what they say, samadhanam of doing a work. A good feeling of satisfaction. An artist who does a beautiful drawing and then tries to sell the drawing. Yes, I'll come to Dheerajji then. Dheerajji has raised his hand in a moment. So when an artist does a beautiful painting and then tries to sell the painting, well, the painting is for the work and all of it, but the value for the artist is not just the material value of the painting which is being sold in the market, isn't it? For an artist, if you look at the artist's perspective, he or she will say, my work is priceless. But for sustenance, I am going to give this value. I am assigning some value. But while doing, if the artist has, no, I'll make this painting, so I will get this much. Then there's a 100% chance that the artwork only will get disturbed. It will not have the spirit. And even the beholder will not see the beauty, because what was there? There was a greed in the heart. I think Ushaji had beautifully shared in our class, when they have the painting of the eyes of the some Devat, everybody does a puja, and it is supposed to be the most important high point of the work. So this is worship, isn't it? So yes, Dheerajji, we're adding something. If you are, yes, Dheerajji, yes, please.
Hari Om.
Yes, Ji.
When we follow the structured way of life, as Meera Madam explained, it not only gives you the pleasure or something like that, but it will give you the fitness as well, because your body will remain fit.
And this is the main reason why our ancestors were more fitter than us.
Yes. They didn't have all those mixers, no grinders, nothing of that sort, no electrical aspects inside. Yet very fit. I remember my grandmother had told my grandfather at a very early age, he said, I'll send you to school. She said, don't send me to school. I will make 50, 60 chapatis more. But don't, because I can do all of it. And she really did, though I would not endorse that idea of hers not having education. But the physical activities, all of it, a discipline. Till the last moment, she always had this. She always had that discipline. And probably, as Dhiraji says, that gives you satisfaction, that gives you fitness also. And also, only when you are open like this, you are open to higher thoughts. Otherwise, you are drowning in your own consciousness, in your own. If you are not alert, where will you learn something beyond your understanding? You have to be aware, isn't it? Right now, what is going on? If you say, nahi, kuch nahi chal raha hai, aise hi chal raha hai, nothing will go on. But if you look at any moment, even in your room right now, if you just see in your house or in what is going on, you'll suddenly see, yes, that person is doing this work, then something else is happening there. Or if you look at apartment also, there are so many people living, you don't even know what's going on in your neighbor's home, what is happening, what is that person going through. Because life is happening, isn't it? It is always happening, whether or not we are conscious. Sattvic person will understand, and Sattvic person will understand correctly. So if you want to be in a relationship also, it is better if you are alert, then you can quickly understand, Arey, kuch hua kya? And you can go and ask. Otherwise, you will remain oblivious. So this is important, what we see with regularity in a right manner. Regulation is important. That does not mean everybody should be a workaholic. Correct time you start, correct time you finish also. But how you do it, each work should be like yad yad karma karomi tadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam, as Adi Shankaracharya has said. Just like that. Let us continue. Niyatam sanga rahati ragadvesha tahakritam afala prepsuna karma. No, I think we finished this. No, Niyatam sanga. Yes, we have finished the 23rd. We'll go to the 24th shloka. Sorry about that. Yattu kame suna karma sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasam tadrajasam udahritam. But the actions initiated by desire's domination, egoistically, seeking a personal and passionate aspiration, which require a great strain and effort to fulfill, no such actions to be as per Rajas's will. So Krishna is saying, he says, these actions, but the actions that are driven by Rajas, Rajasic force, I am doing this action. So I am so important. I have to do all of this. Seeking a personal and passionate aspiration, meaning I have this fire inside of me, then only it will happen. And sometimes we try to make people also do using that force. How long will that person do on? As long as you keep sending that fire from your side. You stop sending that fire, that person will not work. And what will you feel in the end? You will feel exhausted. This is what Krishna is saying, which require a great strain and effort to fulfill. No such actions to be as per Rajas's will. Meaning Rajasic actions, first thing is they are driven by Ahankar. I am responsible because I have been appointed by the head of the organization to look after this event. I have to show how much force I am having inside of me. I have to make it happen because I am more important than the event. The Rajasic person starts feeling like that. So the Rajasic person tries to, dominate, tries to, pressurize people into doing things. And in the process, the person actually loses all the energy. But that is not the case with a Sattvic person. Sattvic person also wants a good action out. He wants a good outcome. But a Sattvic person knows how much force has to be added in which place, how much is not to be added. I think even work days, if you just look back, has anybody felt one day I felt very tired after working? And if you look at it, it was probably because I was feeling I am doing all the work. Has anybody felt like that? This is my own experience also. Thak gaya. Thak gaya comes only when I have done the work. When I feel work is being done, then even in the morning or even in the night, my Guruji actually beautifully says, he says, change of work is rest. Because sir is now 76. Somebody asked him, retirement, what about that retirement? He said, there's no retirement, there is retirement. I'll put a new tire and I'll start going ahead. I will not retire. And he says beautifully, he says, change of work is rest. And I've seen him have meetings early in the morning, around midnight also, even at 1 a.m. also, and they range any topic. And he is like, we can say, perfectly open to the universe. Any situation can come from anywhere. Somebody in some other corner of the world has some issue, they come and they contact him, and that time he has to address according to his discretion, of course. But this is, where does he get the strength? Where does he get the energy? So many people get, they say he's a recharging point. I'll receive energy just talking to you. How is it possible? He says, I am not doing anything. He says, everything divine work. He says, divine headache for doing the divine work also. Why should a human take the headache? Why should one take it on one's own head? Imagine Arjuna in the first Adhyay, he says, I am the guardian of Sanatan Dharma. He feels he has to take care of everybody, future generations. So what happened to Arjuna? He's suddenly having the entire weight on his head, isn't it? Then he's feeling feverish. He's saying, my head is spinning, just like how a school student says, Mama, I don't want to go to school. And I'm not wanting because of some apprehensions. Just like that. Atlas, he's holding the weight. Everybody knows the character Atlas, isn't it? He's holding the entire globe on his shoulders. There's a Greek character, isn't it? Has anybody come across this character? Yes? He's a Titan. Anyone? The Atlas? There was a nice book also, Atlas Shrugged, though it was of a different philosophy, objectivism, which is absolutely different from what we can say, the principle of Gita. But yes, anybody has heard of this Atlas? We'll go ahead.
I've heard.
Yes, Chitraji, would you like to share something? Whatever
I don't know much. I just remember how the posture is and how
posture. Yes, muscular person holding a globe on the shoulder. Yeah. Yes. And it's like at the end that is the job of the Titan it has been given. Your job is to hold this. So what is Atlas doing? He's having the entire weight of the world on his shoulder. Now, if somebody went and if Krishna or somebody else whispered into Atlas's ear, Arey, Sheshnaga is already holding it. What will Atlas do then? He'll say, chalo, theek hai, I can go for a walk. I don't have to carry this entire weight permanently. Many times we feel we have to carry the entire weight of the world. Should Russia bomb Ukraine? This is a question which Ukraine should answer or Russia should answer. Can we, sitting in our homes, take a decision on this? Should this be a source of pressure for us? Like that, sometimes this nature makes us, because of Rajas, we start feeling, how will this person do? Now, children, all parents have worries about children, isn't it? Almost every parent has this, what will my child do? How will it happen? But after a particular point, children have to do their own work, isn't it? Can you influence? If you influence, you're not having children, you're having robots. You're controlling everything. It is better to have a bot only instead of having a child if you want to control everything. But after a point, it's like you'll have worries, you'll have your dharma, you'll have your duties. Duties will not get over. That's different. But anxiety, my friend's mother, she read Bhagavad Gita post-retirement. And then she says, I was unnecessarily worried about my children. Always I was having anxiety. Now I don't really care. I have done my job. I have taught them properly. When they want help, I'm going to give them. Otherwise, I don't care. I'm not so more insecure if they don't call me. My daughter suddenly one day called. She used to never pick up my calls, talk to me after many days. Now she's saying, you don't care or you're not calling. I said, no, you don't feel like calling. So you are calling me right now when you are feeling. I don't care. You call me when you want. I will talk the same way. My feelings are the same. She directly told openly to her daughter. She felt very happy telling this. She was very happy because for the first time. And her son, who is my close friend, he said, now see, in my house, a new baby is born. My mother is born only after 60. Now she is starting a new life. So I'm having a 63-year-old baby in the house is what he says. Because completely new perspective, no worries about what others will think, Now, how long do you have to keep carrying all of these pressures? Rajas makes us all those thoughts, all those insecurities, and they make us tired. So one way of looking, like we saw, division is happening, that is Rajas. Here, you are getting tired of doing your works, your regular routine also. Somewhere you must see something is not going right. It's time to course correct. That is the one other important aspect. Because people who do great works, who do sattvic works, who do divine works, they don't get tired also. Irrespective of even age, sometimes I have personally seen so many people working even physical work, which is sometimes very difficult. It's like even a 30-year-old person may not work that much. But the person is enjoying what he's doing and is considering this work as sadhana, and that is it. It is free. You say, Ram hamara kaam kare, hum baithe aaram. This is not a tamasic thought. It is a sattvic thought of a karyakarta of the divine, who recognizes the divine is working. I just have to do my little work. The force is coming from the divine. As long as the force comes, work will go ahead. I don't care if tomorrow force stops coming. It is divine will. Again, why should I worry about it? My job is instruments work only. Do the job in the middle. Middleman should the middleman take entire credit for everything? Middleman should do middleman's work. Something like that. The divine will is working. Divine is the creator. Divine is having some direction. We are doing the role of manifesting that, whatever we can manifest, that is all. But what about tamas? Krishna goes on, he says, Anubandham shayam himsam, anapeksha cha paurusham, mohat darabhyate karma, yat tamasam uchyate. Yat tat tamasam uchyate. Actions that have arisen out of ignorance is illusion. Disproportionately and mechanically, in a state of delusion, disregarding the consequences, by a wastage of effort, these actions of tamas inflict only injury and hurt. So tamasic actions, they are actions that are driven by ignorance. The person is driven in ignorance, disproportionately done. Sometimes in ignorance, we speak certain things. They have very bad consequences. Why did I speak this? No, I was ignorant, so I spoke. But the words which are not thought of and spoken, they sometimes have a permanent effect, isn't it? We sometimes speak and we say, you can speak only to your loved ones like this. That is why I'm speaking bad to you. Now, is this justified? Can we talk? We must give extra care, isn't it? For those who love, for whom we care. We cannot take them for granted and speak in the wrong direction. Well, that is a tamasic thought. That is a tamasic dialogue also. Like that, not just in dialogues also, in karmas also, disproportionately done mechanically. We just talked about sadhana, everyday sadhana. I think Miraji shared about the elders. They would do it regularly, but it would be with a bhakti bhava. When bhakti bhava is there, then it doesn't become mechanical and monotonous. But tamas is doing mechanically and monotonously. Means japa is happening, the person is not caring about the japa, is not caring about the aradhya, no, is not caring about anything, just doing for the sake of doing. That is tamas. Disregarding the consequences by the wastage of effort. Efforts are wasted. Just think about it. An HR manager, his job is to allocate resources to his executives who are working directly under him. So there is one executive who requires lots of resources, another requires less amount of resources. But if the HR manager is tamasic, what will he do? Who does not need resources, no problem, I'm going to keep sanctioning, don't worry. And the person who really needs it, that person does not get. What's going to happen? Can the company function? Can the company go ahead? Or at least can the HR manager retain the post? When this gets exposed, he will be immediately removed for a tamasic action only, isn't it? Disproportionately done mechanically, like trying to build a swimming pool in the middle of a desert. This is a waste. Pouring water in the desert. What is the use? Water is very precious there. Sometimes for a person who is thirsty in the desert, one glass of water is more valuable than gold. But if you go and start pouring water into the desert, why? Because I have more water with me. Well, it will not cause anything. It will only lead to further tamas, will lead to hurt also. It might even lead to injury Politicians also do tamasic works only, isn't it? Creating divides, creating so many things and manipulating people. And then this spreads a vicious cycle. So that is what we can call tamasic. Let us go on further. Mukta sango nahamvadi dhrutyutsaha samanvitaha siddhaya siddhayor nirvikaraha karta satvika uchyate. So who is that karta? Who is sattvic? Means now the doer of the actions, the karta. This Krishna is saying in success and loss, whose actions are calm and resolute. In sattva state, all his works he is said to execute. Devoid of attachment, his ego he has forsaken. Bereft of attachment, all his works are undertaken. So again, it's like Krishna is just revising in the 18th Adhyay. He is revising principles which he has already told Arjuna. So long back, Krishna talked about Mam Phaleshu Kadachana. Again, when he talked about Sattvic, he said, this is the Sattvic nature. What is Sattva? Then he further goes on here. Again, he tries to tell the same principle. The reason he is hammering this again and again is because he understands human nature. What happens? We hear things, but we don't manifest them. Or we realize things, but we don't fully, practice. Something like that. He wants Arjuna to remember whatever happens. Remember this, he says. In success and loss, the actions are calm and resolute. So whether you are successful or whether you are experiencing failure, I think you need not lose your calm. The calm that is there, let that remain. Why? Sri Aurobindo has told, it is only in the calm that the divine works. So experience the divinity of life. To experience that, you have to have calmness. Whether success or whether failure. Do your job, do your duty. My teacher had beautifully written to someone, do your work as best as you can. That is all that is asked from you. So simple it is. How much ever I can try, I'll do my work to the best of my ability, sincerely. That's all I need to do. Whether it is manifesting in success, whether it's manifesting in failure, one need not worry. In sattva state, all his works he is said to execute. Devoid of attachment, his ego he has forsaken, and bereft of attachment, all his works are undertaken. The ego is completely, that person we can say is like a egoless, we can say is like a ghost. You try to insult that person will not get insulted only. The person will remain in that quiet state, that inner state. Sometimes it is so difficult, isn't it? You people who want to, I think I remember in my friend, there was a Sattvic friend in class. I was very Rajasic in school. So I really wanted to trigger my Sattvic friend because sometime I should get irritated. I was feeling that is the normal way. Why is he not getting angry? So I tried, I did all my efforts. And then I saw I failed. Then I just went and I actually surrendered. I said, boss, full day I was trying to irritate you. You did not get irritated. What happened? He just laughed. He said, this is my way only. That's his nature. He has understood at least that this is something. Well, some people are lucky, like his name is Mohan. He is now senior bank treasurer. But very quiet, very calm, very peaceful. Well, this nature of sattva is very important. And such a person who is not having ego is not going to get disturbed also. There's a difference between swabhiman and ahankar. Means, I should be proud of being an Indian, isn't it? Yes or no? That pride, I am like if you say Kunti Putra, Arjuna, meaning what? Is it ego or is it swabhiman? Krishna also keeps telling him, you O son of Kunti. Or he says, I am Varshneya. Well, there's a fine line between swabhiman and ahankar. That you must understand, because otherwise, people who walk on the spiritual path, they say, I should not have ego, become punching bags. Everybody start attacking him like, no, I should not have ego. No, you have to have your swadharma. You must understand your protection towards yourself. But ahankar, I think we don't need much of introduction to ahankar. We know what it is. That we should only keep it away. So Krishna says, all his works, no attachment is there. Give me a raise, it's all right. Don't give me a raise, that's also all right. I'll do my work. I'll do my work in a perfect manner. Sometimes it's so powerful. If you do the right action, your boss does not want to give you a raise. but the boss is forced to do it because of your karma. And you are not doing just for that particular raise. That is the right state of mind. That is the way a sattvic person is having the approach towards all of his works. The sattvic karta. And these are the instruments of the divine. If you look across in the world also, where is the divine working? You will see the divine working in such individuals. Ragi karma phala prepsur labdho hinsatmako shuchihi harsha shokan vitaha karta rajasa parikirtitaha. With passion, indulgence, and by holding attachment, greedily desiring the fruits of works and their fulfillment. Extremes of emotions in success and loss, spreading violence, such a doer is said to be Rajas in his nature and essence. So excess passion governing that individual, holding on to attachments very strongly. Relationships also cannot become successful. Many times people say, no, we should have control. If you are requiring to exercise control over someone to have a successful relationship, that means your relationship is not in it's in right state only. How long can you control and how many people can you control? We cannot, we can only control ourselves. So this aspect, having attachments, wanting people to behave in a particular way, wanting certain aspects greedily, desiring for everything I have done, I must get something in return. And then extremes of emotions. Miraji wants to raise a question. Yes, Miraji. Please unmute.
My question is that there are some very successful people, successful managers, CEOs, vice president, etc., who are very proud of their success. And so now most of them tilt towards arrogance, as in, yeah, I have accomplished so much. I have been working for 35 years. I have achieved so much. So that is more of a Rajasic quality. And yes. But they're also proud of what they've achieved. So
that way means it is like what we can say, there is a pride of a person for certain things. Actors are also very proud of what they achieve, isn't it? They show a lot of, but are they remembered?
Every successful person is proud of his achievements, no? They talk about and they look down on people who are not successful.
Maybe we'll have to categorize what we define as successful, because there is something which are popular. People who are popular. Popularity changes with time. Maybe somebody is having, today I may have this much wealth, I may have such and such influence because of my Rajasic force. But that will only go as long as my Rajasic force is there. Tomorrow I'll grow old. Tomorrow I'll grow weak. Then my hold over the organization will become less. Maybe for 30 years, I was having Rajasic force to run an organization and I used to rule the world. Now what is going to happen? Now I'll see that it is all sand. The sands of time are suddenly taking everything away. But then there is one person whom I laughed at and I looked down at, this person who was having an ideal. He was living with a vision, but he was absolutely unsuccessful. Tomorrow, this person's ideal will still continue. They say, Yajna Suryena Chakshuhu. If you look at Sanatana Dharma also, how is it continuing? Why is it continuing? Because it is having a strong footing, a strong ground. Because if you see, right, what did Britishers do? The first thing they destroyed Gurukuls, isn't it? They destroyed the Gurukuls. Those who were learning Sanskrit, they had, it was beautifully written by Macaulay. He was a Akranta, so he was following his dharma. I have to break the backbone. He said, we need to stop these schools, we stop the funding. So the Gurukuls, whichever were continuing, they somehow tried to go on. But in the same village, there were successful people who had completed 5th class. They would be going on an elephant. The entire village would celebrate because they have, at that particular time, it was created that this is the greatest person, such a person. Now, if everybody forgot all their principles, forgot all of it, just you yourself described a successful person as arrogant, isn't it? Miraji, while you were talking about them, you called it arrogant. Would you want any of your loved ones to be like that successful person then? Because arrogance, would you want arrogance in your own near and dearest ones?
9 out of 10 of successful people are little arrogant because they're proud of their success. So this line between proud of one's success and arrogance.
No, arrogance is not, arrogance and Swabhiman is very different. Arrogance is not required is what Gita tells us. And for divine works, what I'm saying is divine works are transcending time. If you see organizations also, organizations which have a very strong vision, a solid foundation, these organizations will go on. Swami Vivekananda's Kendras, who is having arrogance? Swami Vivekananda had arrogance that no, I am going to run this rajasikly with my force. Swami Vivekananda, because there are a lot of sadhaks with a lot of Swabhiman. Means in spiritual path also, there are some who have a divine force and some who are very subtle and very quiet also. Both do their works, but both do divine works. But we cannot say they are having, that cannot be equated as arrogance. Because Swami Vivekananda was asked, how are you interpreting like this? This person, this so and so great Acharya has declared like this, but your interpretation is like this. Swami Vivekananda immediately said, because I, Swami Vivekananda, say so. Now somebody will have felt, what is this ahankar? But no, that was a sakshatkar. If Tukaram says, Vedanta to artha amasitsa thava. I only know the meaning of the Vedas. In context of the other people who were misinterpreting it. So that is not spiritual, that's not arrogance. That is Swabhiman. And what we are talking about is these are what we can say Kupa Manduka. Rainy season, they will croak. When the rainy season is over, what's going to happen? Today this thing will work. Then they will cry when they lose their power, which they are holding on with so much arrogance. Because this is Kalaya Tasmai Nama is a truth. Kala will take everything. Young Nachiketas was given, there is a Shreyas and Preyas choice. I will give you all the power in the world. I will give you everything that you need. Yama was offering Nachiketas, but the young boy says, and what will you do afterwards? No, you will live a very long life. 10 generations after you will live full lifespans, 100 years, fully. And all will be successful, disease-free life. Will have good name, fame, everything. But Nachiketas says, boss, what will you do afterwards then? Everything will go away when you take it away from me. I want something higher. So that arrogance is not required. That is Rajasic actually. It has its consequence and they're not happy. Who will be happy with arrogance? It will manifest. Somebody is listening. But even now when we call them arrogant, we know this is not good, isn't it? It will be more beautiful if they were not arrogant. Maybe they would become greater role models. Means somewhere that is a chance, there is scope for progressing. So maybe this we are talking about is this force of the individual. We don't realize when it happens. Look at Ravana. What happened? He had strength. He had so much strength. Arrogance came in. What did he do? Tried to control Grahas. He tried to take Sita away, and ultimately downfall is that only. So maybe we will just change our perspective, or we will probably improve the pool of people we consider as successful probably. But Rajas, Krishna says it is 27th Shloka, if we come back to the Gita, greedily desiring the fruits of works and their fulfillment. Then when they try to do that, then whatever happens, my company must be successful because I am the CEO. I must ensure these results. And then only auditors come and then they start making merry. They start, siphoning out funds to ensure certain, even big organizations then fall because arrogance of the leaders only. Let us continue. Such a person is having extremes of emotions, extreme of happiness, extreme of sorrow, both. Such a doer, he can be called Rajasic in his nature, Rajasic in his essence. But what is Tamas? Tamas is different. Krishna says, Ayuktaha, Prakrutaha, Stabdaha, Shatho Naishkruti, Kolasaha, Vishadi, Dirgha Sutricha, Karta Tamasa Uchchate. One who acts without thinking and reacts by default. His every work is obstinate and wrought with fault, cunning and ignorant, indolent and inexpressive. Such a doer in a state of tamas is always depressive. So somebody who is just thinking and reacting by default, not without thinking, is reacting by default. Some reaction I have to give. That way the person keeps giving, not conscious, we can say unconsciously. And every work is done is full of fault. Meaning sometimes, why did I give this work to this person? This person has created more trouble. It would have been better if I didn't give this work. That feeling comes when you give works to a tamasic person. Because every action, the simplest action also, is governed by the faults only. Cunning. There's a cunningness also in that individual. Not just laziness, cunning and indolent. Cunning and ignorant. Indolent and inexpressive. There's no expression. The person hides the feelings also, and there's no expression coming out of such a person. Such a doer in a state of tamas is always depressive. The person walks around with a cloud of sorrow and depression. That is the nature of a tamasic action and tamasic worker. Krishna goes on. We have some more time, so let us see. We will stop with 3 more shlokas. Yes. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. Sorry, 29. Buddhir bhedam dhruteschaiva gunastrividham shrunu prochamana masheshena prutaktvena dhananjaya. Oh Arjuna, even understanding is said to be threefold. About it, I shall reveal what is understood and told. Likewise, persistence too has 3 actualities. Hear me carefully. I shall explain their qualities. So Krishna is saying everywhere this, how is it sattva, raja, tamas? This is absolute revision of the same 3 gunas. Yajna, dana, tapa, all we saw are having the gunas, stamp of the gunas. Same way, the karta also, the karma also, that is having, and let us see, the buddhi also, meaning intelligence of that individual. Buddhi is said to be something higher than mind. Manasastu para buddhi is what we saw. Indriyanam paranyahur, indriyebhya param manaha. This was a shloka where Krishna was talking about levels of consciousness. Lowest is the lowest level of indriyas. Higher than indriyas is the mana. Higher than mana is the buddhi. Well, but buddhi also, in that level also, the 3 gunas are working, because we saw buddhi to be something high. But there also, we will have the nature. Chor chori se jaye, hera feri se nahi. Something like that. So, gunas will come into play. Gunas will come wherever, at all states of consciousness also, until you reach that state which is said to be gunatit. And probably sometimes you cannot logically explain the gunatit. You will have to experience that to go into it. Let us see. Krishna says, Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham chaya veti buddhi sa partha satviki. That which sees the laws of action and renunciation, recognizing the differences between right and wrong action. He who understands what is to be feared and what is not, what binds or frees the spirit, Sattva's understanding he has got. So Krishna is saying, what is action, what is renunciation, where you have to pravrutti and nivrutti, where you have to intervene and where you are not supposed to intervene. That understanding is sometimes very, very vital. This person who's able to understand it, yes, this is a call of duty, I must answer it. This is not the call of duty. This is the call of the Indriyas. This is the call of some lower moments which are taking place around me. That I need not get carried away. If you have that understanding, we can say we have that. Recognizing the difference between what is right and what is wrong action. Means what is it that is the right action? What is the wrong action? I don't think we need to be told what is right action, but to understand that we have to become silent and understand. Somebody is suffering, and if you are able to take that, to elevate that suffering, do you need to study? Did my Shastra tell me I have to go and help this person or not? No, your heart will immediately tell ki, chalo, this person has fallen down, let me try and raise that person. Because you are understanding this is a part of your duty, the human aspect. Well, this you don't need to learn from some place. Well, something like that, recognizing the difference between what is right and what is wrong. He who understands what is to be feared and what is not, what binds or frees the spirit, Sattva's understanding is God. So, one thing is, what is going to trap me? Is this going to get me into one more karma bandhana, or is it going to liberate me? This understanding, it is very important. One yogi was beautifully meditating in the jungle. People would come get his blessings. So one person says, you have done so good for me. Please accept this gift from me. Sincerely, I am offering you. Take this, and he gives a cow. At least when you are doing your tapasya, this cow will be able to give you some milk. You can utilize it. Now this yogi is doing tapasya, but now he thought, chalo, theek hai. This person has given with good shraddha. Let me accept it. So mistake number one was he accepted that. Then he got trapped in one sansaric circle of taking care of the cow. Then he realized that he is losing a lot of time taking care of the cow. So then his shishya says, no, you are having difficulty. I understand this. Let this person come and stay with you who will take care of the cow. So that person comes. But one person taking care of only one cow, what is the use? So some more cows come in. And now this full sansara in the jungle is getting established in his ashram. And this person is just feeling what happened. Where is pravrutti? Where is nivrutti? I wanted to be liberated, and here I am getting trapped in one more new circle. What is freeing me? What is binding me? We must understand. And we can understand when we become quiet. We don't need somebody else to tell us also. This is one beautiful aspect of Gita. Gita makes us strong, independent, and conscious of ourselves. That times we can understand. We can understand the divine will. What is it? Sometimes Krishna comes and whispers. Sometimes some people hear it in their dhyana. Sometimes some people hear it through somebody else. But that happens. That is why Gita is the great Shastra, they say. So what is binding? What is freeing? Same way, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared? Now this is very important. If you see, Krishna has told about Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi. Fearlessness is the first sadhak's trait. One of the first traits of a sadhak, or the divya nature, divine nature. But understanding what has to be feared, because there's a difference between being adventurous and being foolhardy, isn't it? Now recently one millionaire decided to go underwater, go in search of the Titanic wreck. Was it adventurous or was it foolhardy? If somebody who is an engineer will say it was foolhardy because the person did not look at all the safety mechanisms there, putting himself and everybody else in peril. Individual Rajasic will, lot of wealth. These people, they all signed documents which will indemnify the owner of the company. But the owner of the company also has gone inside. All of them died there. What is this? This is something they should have been. It is not fearlessness, isn't it? It's foolhardiness to go that way inside. So that is something. Like I say, I go to factory every day. So when I go, I need a helmet, isn't it? Or can I say, no, Bhagavad Gita Kavach is there around my head. So I don't need a helmet. No, it's not going to. A vehicle comes, there will be no difference between me and a Shunakaha on the road. It will make no difference. Vehicle will not see that, isn't it? Complete neutral. So here I should be wary of how I drive my vehicle. I have to be conscious of how I'm doing my works. I should be understanding that my physical limitations are also there. I cannot say, no, I am having the Nainam Chindati Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavakaha. That won't help on the traffic in the road, isn't it? Atman is inside, Sharira is there, which is going to go through Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. I have to take care. So this aspect. So fear is not required, but what are the things you have to avoid? Because otherwise, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma. I need not fear anything. There was one Shishya who got very angry with his guru because he went after the pravachan, Aham Brahmasmi. So he starts walking. He goes on the road. One person comes running, says a bull is coming your direction. He says, this fellow doesn't know I am Brahma. I should not be afraid of the bull. The bull, as it's running also, this person is not worried. The bull is charging towards him because he says, bull also doesn't know I am Brahma. Nothing will happen to me. And the bull injures him. Now he gets angry, he tries to go after his guru only. What you taught me, Aham Brahmasmi. But the guru first addresses his wounds, nurses his wounds, and then asks him this simple question. What happened? He said, I got injured. After you taught me Aham Brahmasmi, I thought I am Brahma. And you also told that I am Brahma. You gave a beautiful tarka also, how I am Brahma. But I am not experiencing that, and you have really given me wrong wisdom. The guru asked, didn't you listen to Brahma telling you not to go on that road? Did you not see Brahma there? Only in you. Did you not see everywhere else? So this aspect, it is so important. We should be careful because sometimes in our spiritual path also, somewhere the practical line is lost. That must never happen to anybody, not to any one of us, at least not to those who follow Krishna's Gita, because Krishna is 100% practical throughout all 18 chapters. He is taking so much efforts, and he took this so many years before. Still, they are useful for us even now, because truth is that which is eternal. Truth is Sanatan. Truth will not change. This also we must recognize. What's going to free me? What's going to trap me? So we just look at two more shlokas and we'll stop here. Ya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. That which is right action and that which is wrong action. His mind has a faulty sense of discrimination of what is to be done and what is to be avoided. He holds a wrong notion. Such a being is Rajas in understanding and perception. How is Rajas? Sattvic person is understanding what is right, what is wrong. Vivek Buddhi is awakened. But Rajasic person, he does not understand what is right action and what is wrong action. His mind is only having a confusion. It's like a thermometer. If a doctor is having which says temperature is low and temperature is high, can the doctor use that thermometer? It's of no use. It will be thrown into the dustbin. It is like that, the perspective of such a person. He has forgotten what is dharma and what is adharma and is now unnecessarily having quixotic battles about I am upholding dharma or this person is adharmi, that person is dharmi. Somebody who is following the dharmic path, he is calling adharmic. Why? Vivek Buddhi is destroyed. That is Rajas, we can say. What is to be done, what is avoided, even that the person does not know. That we can call it Rajas. What about Tamas? At least Rajasic person, when he realizes, he can understand how because of Rajas, that every time thermometer is showing like high, low, low, high, you can, go opposite and say if it is low means yes, I can, because this thermometer works wrongly, I can say the temperature must be high. Because at least something predictable is there. Rajas also, you can always get an understanding, but sometimes the understanding comes late after experiencing consequences of wrong understanding. But Rajas is at least there is some hope. But Tamas is a delusion. It keeps a person trapped. Anubandham shayam himsam anapeksha cha paurusham. Sorry, we are in the 32nd shloka. Sorry, yeah. Adharmam dharmam iti ya manyate tamasa vrita sarvarthan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. So, those who are veiled by darkness's cloak, deluded by falsehood, pseudo-interpretations they evoke, their perception of the world is blurred by their misunderstanding. O Arjuna, such beings are said to be tamas in their understanding. Fully driven by misunderstandings because of false interpretations. That is tamas. Veiled by ignorance. Ignorance is darkness, by falsehood. They start invoking, just implementing whatever meaning they feel convenient. About Bhagavad Gita also, many people read Bhagavad Gita and give whatever explanation they want. What is written in Gita? They ask this. Krishna has told like this. And they give their own interpretation what they feel. Well, that is tamasic only. My friend's father had gave him one interpretation which he got very angry with Krishna. He got angry with Gita. Then he got angry with me also because I am connected with Gita. So he had a big discussion with me. And I said, what happened? What problem was he had fallen in love with somebody and his father invoked Bhagavad Gita saying Bhagavad Gita is telling he should not get married to this person. So he got angry with the Gita because he said Bhagavad Gita says you should not marry for somebody who is from another caste. I said, Arey, where did this come? Which Adhyay? Did you ask your father at least that question before listening to him directly? He has told you this, okay. But did you ask him which shloka? I said, no. I said, please ask him and let him know. Then he invoked a shloka from Arjuna's first Adhyay, where Arjuna is using Varna Sankara Karakaihi. He says, see. I said, Arey, Arjuna is depressed there. When people are having bad emotions, they speak anything, isn't it? When somebody is disturbed. You also got disturbed. You said something to Krishna. Should I take this as a Satya Vachan or greatest Vachan of yours? I would call it a useless statement and forget it. Well, what has Arjuna spoken? He has not talked about it. What is the purpose? What is the interpretation? And I said, no, this is not the case. And why did you let go immediately? Then he also smiled. Yeah, probably I didn't have too much of interest also. But he had, what we can say, used a wrong interpretation. Somebody else also interpreted wrongly. So these interpretations will happen. We don't have to worry about who is interpreting correct, who is interpreting wrong. Our job is not to go and teach the world. Our job is to do our karma. There is a Jagat Guru. We can say, Krishna Mande Jagat Gurum. Krishna, please take care of your world. Lots of drama is going on. I'm not happy with it. I think you also should not be. You do your work. Let me at least get the right buddhi to give me the right actions. Let me do that. So tamas will trap you. If tamas is trapping you, you are going to have wrong interpretations, and it is very difficult without some kind of intervention of divine or guru or someone very close to you with some high amount of shraddha. Only such a person can pull you out of tamas. Otherwise, when tamas controls, this is what happens, is what Krishna is saying. There is darkness in that individual, full of wrong interpretations only. And then the world is going to be according to that misunderstanding. The person lives the entire life. So this is where we stop today, 32nd shloka. We might require, I think, 2 more days probably for completion. So maybe we can go on Monday, and Tuesday probably we can just try. So next week I was thinking it might get over in 1 more day, but maybe Monday and Tuesday. That would be better rather than Saturday and Sunday, isn't it? As we are keeping Sundays, weekends off. We'll continue that. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Shardaji. Fine. Ji. All right, Dhiryaji. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry I have not been able to anytime completely predict how many days the Gita sessions start. That I'm guilty of. Hopefully in future I will have a better control. But with this, I conclude with the Shanti mantra. If anybody has any queries, we can look at it. We will then rejoin on Monday as we go into what is Shloka number 33. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste.
Hari Om ji.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om ji. Hari Om ji. Any queries? Most welcome. Hari Om ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. Namaste. Yes, Dheeraj ji. Hari Om.
Just one question, sir.
Ji, sir.
Regarding the query raised by Madam, that current situation, we seen many people who are having ego and all stuff, and we call ahankar basically. Those are becoming the superheroes nowadays. And really, we don't see any good people who are having a good swabhiman and becoming in limelight. So, how to deal with it? Basically, this is my question.
How do we deal with whom? These people, or how do we deal with whom should we deal with? Dheeraj ji, your question.
Deal with the ahankari people who are having the ahankar in their mindset.
We cannot control what we can say. We cannot control the people outside of us, how they are behaving. If media is projecting some people onto us as heroes, you cannot control. But what you can ensure is you can go to the truth of things and see for yourself. Even if you go and tell your friend, don't consider him as your role model, the person may not believe you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, but our job is not that only, because when you start living, you'll say, you are better than that hero. Your friend will start saying, Dheeraj ji is much better in certain principles. I'll emulate him. Why should I? Means what I'm saying is, when we start living, Krishna says, don't go preaching. Also, we have not come to that shloka yet, but Krishna says, don't go after convincing somebody about anything. You start living the principles. Let these heroes not be your heroes, at least. That is the first start.
Yeah.
It starts with that, I don't recognize them as heroes, number one. Then slowly, because if you see, society changes, and in society also we have people who are working selflessly, and these people are not over. They were there before, they are now, they will be remaining also. I think in my school time, I remember my physics professor, Beautiful. Post-retirement, he used to had this, lot of neck stiffness and everything, but he would come and he would say, I am always open to any question. And he would wait in lunch breaks. There was no reason for him to ask this. He would ask very creative, full freedom. No other teacher gave me that freedom. I felt so happy. A subject which I didn't like became my favorite subject. I would quickly eat lunch to go and ask him questions. And for me, he was the first example of a guru. So this selfless teacher was enough for me to believe in Guru Parampara. Means I wanted to touch his feet. Other teachers, I may not have felt like touching their feet because of their actions. They might be more interested in getting good grades only from student, or they had personal, for some reason. Of course, I had very nice teachers. I will not say that. But this one teacher was so important for me that I would not allow my friends to make fun of teachers or as such also, because no, my sir, Professor Punjabi Kesan sir, he is an example for Guru. And then that helped me later on also. And because I had his example, I think I could help me find my Guru later on in
because
life.
this I realized today when there was a Chandrayaan was successing, the real heroes who are behind it, they came and given the speeches, which rest of the world is not aware. We are just,
they are all yogis only, isn't it, Dheeraj? If you just watch, they're not worrying about, am I sounding cool? Am I, you see, they're wearing simple clothes. So many had vibhutis on their head.
Correct.
Isn't it? They were just speaking in a language which is so simple. Your neighborhood uncle and aunt.
I was showing the same thing to my kids, that these are the superheroes basically who are doing actual job.
Yes. So there's something called popularity. So popularity fades with time. Who is popular today will not remain popular tomorrow. Fashions change, everything changes. But Satyam eva jayate, we say, no, truth is that which will always remain. That we must recognize. So popularity, actors are popular, heroes are popular, fashions are popular, but then they change, isn't it? I think there was a time when bell bottoms were very popular.
Yeah.
For men, isn't it? Now men, women both discarded them completely, isn't it, Dheerajji?
Yes.
So what can we say then? What about all those heroes who wear bell bottoms? They are not heroes anymore, is it?
Yes. They are now, see that generation.
So these popular things will change, but that is what we have to, at least whom we identify, and that is sufficient actually for us. You identify, you can keep going ahead, and that inspiration will keep coming to you if you connect with them. Yes,
sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You gave this example of how you tried to irritate one of your friends, no? Who was
that was
peaceful. Now, lot of people do this, they kind of, they have Rajasic,
Rajasic people.
Tease people who are little timid, who feel retaliate. So at that time, it is better to remain silent.
It's better to remain silent, yes. And when the time has to come, means you must not be so trapped in your own sattva guna only that you will allow. At least I did not cross the limit.
You mentioned something about protection of self.
Swadharma.
So you have to protect your your swabhiman also sometimes. You can't allow
absolutely.
People to...
And that time also, when you are protecting and defending yourself, how you are doing it, if you are in control. And best way is when you are clear, in your mind, this is the right thing. It's all right. It's okay. You can stand against the entire world also. Even if the world is going against you, you can, because you are firm on that principle. So that you can understand.
Like there are some people who are very fond of, humanity. I mean, they help everyone. But if somebody insults them, they will not keep quiet. Otherwise, they never fight. They don't fight with anyone. But if someone insults them in some way, they will report to the authorities. They'll say, so otherwise, they'll be doing social work, this, that, they'll be going out of their way and helping. But if somebody, as you say, this Swabhiman is put haste ponchaya, then
it is fine.
They will then stand up for themselves.
But if they do that for every insult they receive, they cannot do any good work, because they say Hathi chale bazar, kutte bhauke hazar. Best aspect. And then it was something we must recognize how we deal with also. So to understand that, we need to become quiet. First
Quiet,
aspect
yes.
is that.
So when you're
Absolutely.
quiet and retaliate less, people,
Yes.
you get the answers more
Absolutely.
and more.
Absolutely. And then the higher work, and then that is Krishna consciousness. Krishna's way of working. Krishna knew, isn't it? He knew how to deal with Shakuni also, Duryodhana also, Arjuna also, to each in his language. I think in Vibhuti Darshana, there's a beautiful shloka, Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. I am the cunning in the gambler's deception, Krishna says. That only Shakuni got the Sakshatkar because he was the gambler and he saw a master in front of him in his own field, which he thought he was the Kshetragni. So that aspect is probably when we rise, we get the guidance. Most of the time, it is somebody who is aligned with the divine consciousness, they get the help. It comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. Somewhere. It comes.
So which are the versions of the Mahabharata you feel where you see other aspects of Krishna, how he deals with other people, how he deals with, like you mentioned,
if you study the Mahabharata,
how he dealt with Shakuni, we see that, yeah.
Shakuni, we see even how he talks to
Duryodhana.
Duryodhana also. He says, are you going like this? It's like almost saying shame, puppy, shame to Duryodhana, and immediately Duryodhana, because his ahankar is getting triggered, he says, no, I will not go this way.
That scene where he says, I came first. I am first, so you have to deal with me. You have to give me first. I've been sitting here. Then he says, but Arjuna sitting at my feet. And when I opened my eyes, I saw him first. So that's a very clever way he dealt with Duryodhana.
No, everywhere. Even
very clever.
Pitama Bhishma, if you look at the part where Bhishma was going in a very wrong direction, already Bhishma has supported Adharma. And Bhishma has a lot of strength. But individual Shabda, he has given so much importance than higher truth. And once something happened in the Mahabharata where he felt this was absolutely wrong, so immediately he wanted to show Bhishma, don't have such a ankar. He picks up the chakra, the wheel, chariot wheel, and he is directing at Bhishma, showing that Bhishma, I don't need a weapon to slay all of you also. And Bhishma he says, okay, if I die Krishna's hands, it's fine. He is happy. But then that was one more Sakshatkar, one more place. Each point, if you see, that is why they say Krishna consciousness is something very special. Where every place, Arjuna also didn't understand. Very few people understood Krishna completely. We can say it's very, very, very rare. Even Radha, we can say, Radha tried, she was very close because of her love for Krishna. She was very close to Krishna. Probably she also outpranked Krishna by leaving him early. The story of Radha and Radha's final moments also, she's pining and Krishna comes to see her, but she's already gone. So what we understand is Krishna remains, he is why we love Krishna or why we like his way of behaving is because all human emotions he has not discarded, but he's tried to lift them to the better way, the right level, right way. Means Arjuna there's one more, there was a statement, Arjuna, everybody were busy in their own pratignyas. I have given my word. So it was like, my word is important than anything else. Each person was holding on to their words. Now, how difficult it would be. Arjuna, if you see, Arjuna had told anybody insults my Gandev Dhanusha, I will not spare that person because this is a divine bow. That person, I will even end that person, whoever insults my Gandev Dhanusha. So Yudhishthira insults Arjuna during Mahabharata by saying, what is this? So your bow is of no use today. Immediately now there is a Dharma Sankat. Because Arjuna has taken pratignya, I will slay the person who insults my Dhanusha. And now Yudhishthira has only, and now Arjuna is wondering, what should I do? How should I end Yudhishthira's life in Mahabharata? So Krishna comes to the rescue. Krishna says to him, see, Yudhishthira is a good person, a nice person, good-hearted person with a good name in the society. So for such a person, if you insult a person who has got a good name, it is as good as slaying the person. So probably Arjuna might have hurled the choicest of abuses at Yudhishthira for insulting Gandheva, but he didn't slay Arjuna. He didn't slay Yudhishthira. So what was happening is people were all getting trapped by their own limited logical circles of personal understanding. Krishna was just trying to take, means if you study Krishna, beautiful case study it is with
Very
every
good
single
story
person.
of how he deals with different people.
Everyone. Arjuna
Everyone.
also.
How he deals
Arjuna
with
is saying,
Karna
yeah,
also. How
Karna
he deals
also.
with Karna also.
Yeah. Arjuna
He
also
knew.
is saying, yeah.
He
Yes,
knew, no? He knew what kind of
Yes.
person Karna was.
Yes,
But,
yes.
he doesn't protect him, but no, even though he
No,
knew
even
that-
Arjuna, if you see Arjuna also, how he is dealing with Arjuna, he is always working for the Krishna Dharma, we can say, the higher Dharma. We must recognize that highest Dharma of the moment. If you recognize it, your problems are over. Because the one who is running and whose name is Ranchod is telling Arjuna, Arjuna, are you going to run away from battle? What will people call you? What will they call? Ranchod part 2. That's all. No, it's another name of Krishna only. But Arjuna is more attached. Arjuna doesn't understand higher consciousness. So he has to speak in a language Arjuna understands. If you see the Gita also. Yes, absolutely, Ji, Miraji. So that's right.
Do you have, is there a version, has Dr. Radhakrishnan also written has Dr. Radhakrishnan also written the Mahabharata in a simple form? Where he has given lots of stories like the Gita?
I have not studied it. I have not studied it, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Yes, see. Ji.
So is there any version of Mahabharata you would suggest us to?
I will ask some expert about, because Mahabharata is so long, no?
Because there's so many versions. Some are very short. Some are
No,
very
but I
short.
think you choose what connects with you, Miraji, rather than you just try picking up and it will give you what gives you joy, no? You follow it, because ultimately, because we don't have to go and analyze how many years before or what was this. The translation, you try to connect, because
mostly the visual versions have dealt with quite well.
Children have enjoyed this Amachitra Kathas and others ones, comics for kids. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, Ji. Yes, Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Jai Shri Krishna. So see you on Monday. Namaste. I'll conclude this session. Yes, Hari Om. Vinita Ji, do you want to say something?
No.
No, Acha Ji. All right. Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji.
All right. Shubharatri, everyone. Thank you.